executive meetings of the party, and as far as I'm concerned, this matter was not discussed at the executive of the party. This matter most likely will come up on Friday, because as far as I know, that there was no discussion of this matter at the executive of the party.
So you're concerned about that your general secretary is speaking on behalf of the party that issues that were not discussed at the executive level?
You should ask the general secretary this. Maybe he has spoken to some party members and this is their feeling, but that's what I go by. I go by the meetings that are discussed there. People can have individual positions too. Many times, positions as individuals. And I suspect Rohi, a lot of what Rohi has to say has to do more with him being responsible for security in the opposition. He is our parliamentary spokesperson on security matters. So a lot of what he said in this regard has to do more with his role as a rather disagreements with approaches, etc., in the government, than a secretary of the party. Sometimes these interfere or the lines are blurred. Our members of parliament in the areas where they have portfolio responsibilities, some level of latitude. They don't have to, on every matter consult with the leader of the opposition or the party on those matters. So they can make statements and they can, deal with issues without having to clear those every time with the leader of the opposition or the party. So I suspect a lot of what he has said, because of his closeness to the security sector, having been the Minister of Home Affairs, and now with responsibility for that sector in the Parliament. But the party has not discussed this matter.
Dr. I think it's best to comment. The Finance Minister said any bailout of the sugar industry or any additional funds needed for sugar will impact on the government's ability to have public servants benefit on increased salary.
Oh, really? Well, one. So now that, are they going to pay the public servants? That's the first thing. So, and how much? And how much are they going to pay the public servants? That's a question. Nagamutu said they had money set aside for over 100% increase in salaries to the public servants. When are they going to effect those payments? So nobody fights for the public servants anymore. Nobody. Because the public servants thought they had a champion some of them thought they had a champion in APNU. The president has said many of them are lazy and they can't expect high salary increases, etc. And therefore, is this not prejudicial to the negotiation? Is that statement going to be used to give the public servants a paltry increase in wages and salaries? So when are they going to effect their payout to public servants that Prime Minister Nagamutu, our wizard on figures, has said that they had money set aside to effect 100% increase in wages and salaries? When are they going to do that? And to link it with Gaisuko and everything else, it is saying to the public, they didn't say when we took this big increase that will cost us probably $1 billion, the Treasury, over the 5 years, based on the large number of ministers and the salary increase they took, they did not say it will impact on the wages and salaries of the public servants. But here is Jordan talking about some bailout of sugar affecting public servants, but he has just exposed the Treasury to over $60 billion of liabilities. $60 billion of liabilities. That could have kept Wales open. It could pay $50,000 per child, school child, on transport grant per year. It could bail out sugar. It could bail out rice. It could pave all the roads in coastal Guyana, the village roads, etc. It could build 1,000 arches. It could do all of these things that he just exposed the Treasury to. One decision, and you're concerned about the sums of money that the additional subsidies. And you know why? Because they were boasting about how, since they took over, they've done so well in sugar. You recall the articles, the Chronicle carried some articles glorifying Nagamootoo holding a sugar cane over his head like this, and stuff like that. I'm just joking before they say I'm lying, but you know, they're holding the sugar cane over his head and how well they have done. And then saying they've done so well, and 30,000 tons shortfall. And they keep putting in these people. One is 91-year-old. I spoke about that the last time. 91 years old to run some agency in the sugar industry. Now I don't have nothing against people who are 91-year-old, because I believe we shouldn't be harassing them and putting them to work now in the sugar industry. But that's why shortfall, huge. You don't hear much about that. But how is that going to affect the growth figure? Ask Jordan now. How will that affect the growth rate? And I saw the increased declaration in gold. Some minister, I think it was Trotman, compared to last year, was making the case that mining is doing well and that a lot of small miners have made this. It was the two large companies, the increased declaration from the two large companies. And so it's misleading, again, to say that the miners are doing well. Miners are having a hard time. They should help the mining industry too. We have asked for specific policies to help the mining industry. Some tax concessions, the royalty rate, etc. We've asked for specific concessions for that too. And so this thing about subsidy to sugar has to be linked to all of this. Any other question? All right then, thank you.
Just one general question. When you went to visit on the walkabout with the vendors,
Yeah.
you were subjected to a series of verbal onslaughts.
Yeah.
Is that in any way deter you? And does it make it harder for you to go on similar exercises?
As I said to the people, I was sitting in, before we left Freedom House, where some of the people who walked with me were gathered in the office of the executive secretary of the party. So I came in and they were telling me about the vendors. And I said to them, particularly the younger ones, I've always said to you, that there are times in government and in opposition, you can't only want the garlands. You have to face also the abuses. And I said to them, when we go out there, APNU can't allow us to do this. You're going to get cussing. So I said that to them. Many of them probably, because they're young and freshies and stuff like that, they did not believe me. So when we went on the part of the walkabout, we had some good things and stuff. They were glowing. And then, then it happened. And so I saw panic in some faces, but they recovered quickly. And that's a credit to some of our young guys and stuff. And I said, this is how it has been in Guyana. That was mild compared to 2007 and 2008 and the early period. Mild. You know, I was called Milosevic and all kinds of things in the early days, and it was mild. So they had to do that. They had to send those people to be disruptive. And I told our guys to expect it before we went out. So I expected it. It happened. APNU can't handle us going into areas that where they believe they own people, and they don't own anyone. The PPP will take its message. Remember I said before, after local government, I said we will first of all consolidate our base and where we have strong support. And we've been working hard to do that. And then we will start working in areas that where APNU is strong, taking our message to people there too. Because we're not opposition only for PPP people. We're opposition for the whole country. And so we'll continue. And the abuses will continue. And we will take our message. And some people will listen. I'm sure in that crowd there, you had some people who wanted to talk. In fact, they came and many of them quietly met me and stuff. They were intimidated. I saw one guy who was central part of the APNU campaign. I heard he works at OP now. Pushed down someone who was coming over to say hello to me. Pushed him down. They have him on tape. Yes. That's the kind of thing. And so people will start thinking themselves about those issues. Thank you.